Welcome to Tech to Tech presented by KYZEN, where we will explore common cleaning questions and answers. Let's get started. I would like to introduce KYZEN's own Beth Bivens.
Right. All right. Thank you, William. Today, I'm going to present a case study about cleaning long tubes and customers who have converted to a vacuum degreasing process. So the opportunity is that a lot of companies manufacture very, very long tubes. They can be 10 meters, 3 feet, or 30 feet or longer. They're commonly used in aerospace, medical, and other high precision applications, but they can also be used in any type of application. And normally they're machined and then drawn out to even longer lengths and sometimes made into coils. So because of the nature of the industries, the cleanliness can have a direct effect on the performance of the finished product. And the long length and the small diameter can pose the cleaning challenges that these guys face. So the challenge has come to light as the US EPA has started to regulate some chlorinated solvents like trichloroethylene and perchloroethylene. So we had been sought out by a few of these long tube manufacturers who were looking to replace that. And another one had a very old aqueous cleaning system that was being further regulated by the state where they are, and the water discharge was a problem. So that was the challenge of finding something new. And then the cleaning challenges include getting the cleaning solution into the entire tube, because as you can imagine, with a 30-foot long tube, it takes some sort of pressure and flow to get it into the tube. Getting it out and then drying, of course, is a big challenge, especially the customer using water was having a lot of drying issues. So the cleaning solution challenges, as I mentioned, these chlorinated solvents are being phased out. Many machining oils that are used by these companies, and they also use coolants that are not soluble in aqueous chemistries. And then in some parts of the country, there are VOC restrictions and water restrictions, as I mentioned, with the one customer. So these folks were all searching for a new cleaning process that can do the things that I just mentioned: clean adequately and dry, environmentally friendly and safe for workers, will not likely be subject to future regulation because it's a big process to qualify something new, and has low cost in use. So in the solution, this year alone, we've had 4 long tubing manufacturers convert to a vacuum vapor degreasing process with our modified alcohol solvent, METALNOX M6386. So as I mentioned, 3 of them were using trichloroethylene and very old degreasers. One was using an aqueous process that was being regulated by the state that they were in. So they chose the vacuum degreasing process due to the cleaning performance for both the inner and the outer tube surfaces, the rapid drying, good materials compatibility, so the solvent is compatible with the metals that these tubes are made of, no water, the solvent is safe, and it has regulatory advantages over these older solvents, and the overall process cost was the lowest. So the METALNOX M6386 is a water-free solvent. It can clean both polar and non-polar soils. So if you happen to have something that's polar, it can clean that. It's not a PFAS. It doesn't contain any PFAS materials. It can clean things with oils or with water-based products. And it's distillable and highly recoverable. And the composition doesn't change as it's distilled. So its environmental qualities, it's non-hazardous, it's biodegradable, it's RoHS compliant, it's doesn't contain any fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, no HFEs, no HFCs, all these things that are in the news at the moment. It's REACH approved, it's not a hazardous air pollutant like trichloroethylene. The folks using trichloroethylene had to get extensive air permitting in order to be able to use that. So to get away from that was a very good thing. We've done testing to prove that it's very low in cytotoxicity. Actually, there's no cytotoxicity. And it's not on any lists by the EPA or OSHA, or even in other countries. It's not on any lists for any type of review. So the vacuum degreasing process itself, and the picture in the corner there is an actual machine for one of these customers. And as you can see, it's quite long. I mean, there's two men standing in front of it, and I'm not quite sure exactly how long the machine itself is, but as you can see, it's pretty complex and pretty long. But the process itself is quite simple. There's only one chamber in the machine for the cleaning to take place, and it usually will pull a vacuum, flush the tubes with vapor or solvent or both, and then immersion and spray or sprays, a vapor rinse, and a vacuum dry. And most of the time, they also use ultrasonics in the cleaning. So this is just a schematic. It's a much simpler schematic than this this machine down in the bottom. But basically all the cleaning is done in this one chamber, in the work chamber. And then there's usually cascading tanks of solvent. So it's cleaned with the dirtiest solvent, and then cleaned again with the less clean solvent, and then the final rinse is done with the cleanest solvent that comes from the distillation system. And the whole thing is done under a vacuum. So in conclusion, this has proven to be an excellent alternative for like these 4 customers, and I'm sure there are others out there. And some things to consider in the future would be environmental regulation changes that can continue to affect older generation solvents and possibly the equipment. The changes could affect the solvent supply and pricing. And now we have to worry about tariffs. So some of the chlorinated and fluorinated solvents that are still out there are coming from foreign countries that are subject to tariffs. And also the metals in themselves that are used to make the tubes and coils could be subject to tariffs. So solvent conservation and cost savings anywhere that you can get it is a good thing. So some of the frequently asked questions: what steps should I take to qualify a new cleaning solvent/process? Well, that depends on the end use, but these customers all did some sort of non-volatile residue or particle analysis on cleaned tubes to verify that the solvent was working. Some of the other contaminants that you can run into when you're making tubing would be carbon, rust, and smut. And can those be removed in a vacuum degreasing process? And the answer to that, unfortunately, is no. Solvents really aren't good cleaners for rust and carbon and other smut. You almost need a water-based process for that. Is the modified alcohol solvent compatible with both ferrous and non-ferrous metals? Yes, it's compatible with all metals. And will KYZEN assist in converting to a new solvent? Yes, absolutely. We have a vacuum degreaser in our lab where we can run tests. Of course, we don't have a long vacuum degreaser, so usually the customers would start out by sending cut up tubes to the lab, and we would show on a small scale that the process worked, and then eventually they would go to the actual machine manufacturers and do some sort of a scaled up cleaning trial. And that's all. Have a great day and good luck in finding a new cleaning process.
Thanks, Beth. Thank you all for watching this Tech to Tech session. If you would like to discuss this topic further or have any questions not answered in the session, please contact your local KYZEN regional manager or send an email to tech@kyzen.com. We will have someone follow up with you as soon as possible. And if you like this video, be sure to follow us on our social media platforms for more expert cleaning content.